Have you ever found yourself trapped in procrastination, unable to get anything done, even though you know success is just around the corner? Perhaps you are well aware of what you need to do to achieve your goals, but laziness keeps holding you back, pulling you into meaningless tasks. If this sounds familiar, then the following Buddhist story will give you a deeper insight into how to overcome laziness, develop discipline, and eventually succeed in life. The story of the lazy young man and the diamond. Once upon a time, in a small village at the foot of a mountain, there was a young man known for his laziness. While the other villagers toiled away in the fields and workshops, this young man spent his days lying under a tree. Dreaming and indulging in comfort, as time went on, his laziness became a common topic of conversation in the village. The villagers mocked him, and some even felt frustrated because, while they worked tirelessly, the young man contributed nothing to the community. One day, a wise monk passed through the village. The monk frequently visited the village to beg for food, and every time he came, he saw the young man lying under the same tree, seemingly asleep on the course of his own life. One day, the monk approached him and asked, "Why do you lie here all day? Why don't you go and work in the fields like everyone else?" The young man lazily replied, "Working in the fields is tiring. I don't like hard work." Hearing this, the monk smiled and asked another question. "Would you like to become rich?" This question sparked the young man's interest. He sat up, eyes shining. "Of course I would. Can you help me?" The monk looked at him with a mysterious expression and pointed to the tall mountain in the distance. Behind that mountain, there is a cave. Inside the cave is a precious diamond. If you find it, you will be rich forever. The young man hesitated at first, worried about the difficulty of climbing the mountain, but the thought of the diamond filled him with excitement. After some consideration, he decided to embark on the journey. His journey began with enthusiasm, but he quickly realized that climbing the mountain was no easy task. The steep slopes, slippery rocks, and scorching sun made him weary, and he wanted to give up. However, the thought of the diamond kept pushing him forward. After hours of exhausting effort, he finally reached the top of the mountain, where the breathtaking view astonished him. From the peak, he could see his village far below, and a sense of achievement washed over him. But the journey wasn't over yet. He still had to descend the mountain and find the cave. The descent was even more dangerous. The young man stumbled, fell, and hurt himself many times, but with perseverance and the desire for the diamond, he pressed on. Finally, after much struggle, he reached the cave. But to his disappointment, the cave was empty. There was no diamond. The young man was angry and frustrated, wondering if the monk had deceived him. When he returned to the village, he went straight to the monk and yelled, "You lied to me. There was no diamond in the cave." The monk, still smiling gently, replied, "You didn't find the diamond." The young man, confused, said, "No, I found nothing but emptiness." The monk patiently explained, "The diamond I spoke of is the diligence you have found within yourself. Before this, you couldn't even work in the fields because you were too lazy. But now, you have climbed a mountain, faced hardships, and returned. This proves that you have found the true diamond, diligence and discipline. With that, you can achieve anything." Upon hearing this, the young man realized the profound truth in the monk's words. He understood that all the power to achieve anything in life was not outside of him, but within. Diligence, discipline, and the ability to overcome obstacles were the true treasures. Have you ever wondered why you wake up each morning and go through the motions of life, as if caught in an endless cycle? Or perhaps there are moments when you feel like you're drifting in the vast ocean of existence without knowing where the shore is. This may stem from not having a clear goal, or more precisely, from not having a purpose strong enough to make you rise, stand up, and take action. We live in a world where everything seems predetermined, as if we are simply following a path laid out before us, without needing to think too much, without the necessity of struggle. Daily routines, social responsibilities, family, and countless other obligations sweep us into a whirlwind of endless activity. But then, there comes a moment when we stop, look around, and ask ourselves, "Where am I?" Perhaps we have, like the young man in the story, paused under a tree, unsure of where to go, with no reason to rise, lack of motivation and clear goals. that might just be one of the silent ailments of our time. Do you remember the last time you truly felt excited, full of energy, and determined to achieve something? Or has it been too long since you've postponed your plans, your dreams, simply because you didn't feel driven enough? There's a story like this. A young man sat under a tree, doing nothing. Day after day, he remained there, watching the world pass by without a care. Everything seemed too easy. Nothing urged him to get up and take action. Then one day, a Zen master passed by and suggested the presence of a precious diamond, not far from where the young man sat today. Only then did the young man awaken, and he began his journey to find that diamond. And what made him finally stand up after all those days of indolence? It was motivation, a clear goal, a reason substantial enough to prompt action. This story reminds me of how many of us live today. When everything feels too effortless, we lose the sense of striving forward, the urge to progress. When we lack a specific goal, we easily fall into stagnation, laziness, and simply remain in place. But are we truly content with such a life? Or deep down, do we always know that we are capable of more? So the question is, what holds us back? What prevents us from moving further? The answer might lie in our lack of a clear goal or the absence of motivation to pursue it. Have you ever asked yourself, what would my life be like if I woke up tomorrow with a grand purpose, a dream so compelling that I had no choice but to pursue it? Look at the world around you. How many people have risen and transformed their lives into extraordinary stories simply because they had a goal big enough to drive them? People often say that it is not the obstacles that cause us to give up, but the fact that our goals aren't big enough to help us overcome them. Do you agree? And now imagine this: if you had no goals in life, what would your days look like? What would you do to feel like your life had meaning? And more importantly, how would you feel if you stayed under that tree forever, watching life pass by without ever taking action? I understand, setting goals can seem daunting. You might ask yourself, what is my goal? Am I capable of achieving it? But remember, goals don't always have to be monumental things like becoming a billionaire or changing the world. A simple goal, yet meaningful to you, can be enough to get you up every morning with a sense of determination. So how do you find your goal? Sometimes the answer lies in the smallest things that bring you joy. Take a look at your life and see what brings you happiness and fulfillment. It could be learning a new skill, improving your health, or even helping others. Every goal, no matter how small, can become a powerful motivator if it truly matters to you. Another question to consider: have you ever wondered why some people seem to always have motivation, always know what they want, and always strive relentlessly to achieve it? What is their secret? It's not that they are more talented or luckier than you. It's because they have found a reason so compelling that nothing can stop them. And you can be the same if you find your purpose. To overcome laziness, the most important thing is to clearly define your goal and understand why you want to achieve it. You can ask yourself, why do I want this? What does this mean for my life? Once you have the answer, it will feel as if a flame has been lit within you. That flame will help you overcome obstacles, challenges, and even those days when you feel like giving up. But having a goal alone is not enough. You must act. You may have the greatest of ambitions, but if you don't act on them, they will remain mere dreams. Sometimes the first step is the hardest, but remember, nothing worthwhile is ever easy. Every step, no matter how small, brings you closer to your goal. And with each step, you will feel stronger, more confident, and your motivation will only grow. There's a wonderful saying, a journey of 1,000 miles begins with a single step. Are you ready to take that step? Are you willing to stand up from beneath your tree and embark on the journey to find the diamond of your life? Time passes, and life waits for no one. If you continue to stand still, tomorrow will turn into yesterday, and one day you will realize how many opportunities, how many dreams you've let slip away. Don't let your life become a series of days that pass by without leaving any mark. In the end, always remember that each of us has a diamond of our own to search for. It could be a dream, a passion, or a life goal. And only when we dare to rise, to face ourselves, and to take action, can we find it? So, what will you do today? Will you continue to sit beneath the tree? Or will you stand up and begin your journey? The answer is yours. And only you can write the story of your life. Have you ever found yourself immersed in a life of abundance and comfort to the point where you no longer feel the motivation to change or challenge yourself? That is the story of many, including a young man who lived in a peaceful village where nothing was lacking. Everything in the village came easily to him, from good food, comfortable housing, to leisurely work. He didn't need to worry about scarcity, hunger, or hardship. At first glance, it seems like the kind of life anyone would wish for, but is it truly perfect? Ask yourself, when you do not face challenges, do you still have the motivation to move forward, to grow? The truth is, when everything becomes too easy, it is all too easy to fall into a state of stagnation. Laziness even. Comfort, when it reaches an overwhelming level, becomes no different than a subtle trap, confining us in the vicious cycle of inertia. In this story, the young man lived in peace, with no reason to change, no motivation to act. But one day, he was faced with an unimaginable challenge. It could have been a natural disaster, a sudden misfortune, or a test he never anticipated. And what happens when he faces this? It is at this moment that he is forced to change, to step out of his comfort zone, and to confront things he had never before considered. If not, he would be overwhelmed. So what is the lesson here? Should we wait until everything falls apart, until life forces us to change, before we begin to act? Or can we proactively create challenges for ourselves, compelling ourselves to step out of comfort before it is too late? Take a moment to reflect on your current life. Are you in an environment that is too convenient and easy, to the point where you no longer feel the need to make an effort? Are you postponing major goals because the present is too tranquil and not worth disrupting? The ease of our current lives may very well be our greatest enemy to growth. And if you don't set challenges for yourself, life will eventually present ones that are harsher than you could have imagined. So how do we step out of this comfort? The simple answer is, we must create our own difficulties. Put yourself in situations where success is the only option. This doesn't mean you have to do something extreme, but ask yourself, what would happen if I were forced to move forward, if there was no other choice? It is when there is no way back that you will discover your true strength. For instance, think about people who start businesses from nothing, with no available resources. They have no choice but to work tirelessly, facing challenges every day. And from these hardships, they become resilient, creative, and achieve successes they never thought possible. If they lived in a village full of convenience, would they have found the motivation to act? Think of your life as a boat drifting along the river of existence. When the river is calm, your boat may float peacefully, without any obstacles. But that means you are drifting without control, without a clear goal. Only when you encounter rough waters will you need to firmly grip the oars and steer the boat according to your will. That is when you truly take control of your life. I understand that change is not easy. Putting yourself in difficult situations is a great challenge. But think about the great accomplishments in anyone's life. Do they ever come from ease? Or do they always come after relentless effort, after sleepless nights, after moments of facing failure and fear? Start with small changes. For instance, if your current job feels too easy and no longer challenging, why not seek out a new project, something you've never done before? Or if your daily life feels monotonous, set yourself small challenges like learning a new skill, engaging in an activity you've never tried. These things will not only help you grow in terms of skills, but also in spirit, making you more resilient in the face of any challenge. There is another story of a fighter who went through years of arduous training. Every day, he fought with opponents stronger than him, faced painful defeats. But after each failure, he became stronger, quicker. By the time he entered a real fight, he was well prepared and confident because he knew that all the previous hardships had forged him into the best version of himself. If he hadn't gone through those days, would he have stood firm in the arena? We are the same. If we only live in ease, can we truly face the unexpected challenges of life? Can we maintain our spirit if we have never endured hardship? Comfort is not the enemy, but it can become a trap, one that dulls our edge and diminishes our ability to face adversity. Modern life offers us many easy choices, from technology, food, housing, to work. But the important thing is knowing when to step out of that ease, when to confront challenges to grow. Challenge yourself every day, even if it's just small changes. Ask yourself, what can I do today to be better than I was yesterday? Don't let ease pull you backward. It is in those difficult moments that you truly discover your hidden potential. And finally, remember this: life is never a straight path without difficulties. Challenges are an inevitable part of the journey. Instead of avoiding them, embrace them with courage, for they will be the driving force that propels you forward, helping you become the best version of yourself. Imagine, if you will, a young man standing before a towering mountain. This mountain is not just a physical challenge, but a symbol of the obstacles in life. The young man gazes up at its peak, his heart filled with doubt and fear. He does not believe that he is capable of climbing it, nor does he believe he will be able to return safely. How could someone like me ever hope to conquer such a difficult journey? He wonders, but let us pause for a moment. This doubt is not his alone, is it? How many times have we ourselves faced challenges that seemed insurmountable, feeling inadequate to rise to the occasion? How often have we told ourselves that we aren't strong enough, capable enough, or good enough to succeed? And how many times have we given up before we even began, simply because we didn't trust in our own abilities? The mountain of life. Our lives are full of mountains, both literal and figurative. Each one represents a challenge, a hardship that we must overcome. It might be a daunting project at work, an important decision in our personal lives, or the pursuit of a long-forgotten dream. But what holds us back? What stops us from moving forward? Is it because we are truly incapable, or because we fail to recognize the latent potential within ourselves? The young man, after much hesitation, finally decides to begin his journey. His initial steps are slow and awkward. He feels the weight of his legs, as though each step is burdened by the heavy thoughts of self-doubt. I can't do this, I'm going to fail, this isn't for me. Do you find yourself in this situation? When every step you take in life seems to be weighed down by anxiety and a lack of self-belief, small steps, big changes, but observe closely, every small step the young man takes brings him closer to his goal. At first, he may not notice his progress. But over time, as he looks back, he sees that he has left the starting point far behind. This is the power of small steps. Have you ever wondered, why do I feel overwhelmed by large challenges when, in fact, every small step can bring me closer to my goal? From the young man's story, we can understand that starting with small steps is key to building confidence. You don't need to conquer the mountain in a day, but if you set a goal and progress steadily, even if slowly, you will reach the summit. And as you experience success, even in small increments, your belief in yourself will begin to grow. Confidence comes from experience. As the young man continues his journey, he begins to realize that he is more capable than he initially thought. He finds himself stronger, more resilient, and more patient. This reminds him of the many times he had given up in the past, not because he was unable to succeed, but because he didn't believe he could. But this time, things are different. This time, he has confidence. And that confidence comes not from others' encouragement, but from his own experience. Ask yourself, how many times have you given up before allowing yourself the chance to discover your true limits? How many times have you taken the easier path because of fear of failure? Laziness, if we can call it that, isn't always a lack of effort. Sometimes, it stems from a lack of belief in oneself. Have you ever wondered why you hesitate to start something new? Why do you delay pursuing goals you know you truly desire? The answer often lies not in your lack of ability, but in your failure to recognize your own potential. Like the young man in the story, you need to experience challenges firsthand to uncover your own capabilities. Responding to challenges, now think about the challenges you're facing in your life today. It might be a new job, a creative project that demands innovation, or a difficult situation in a personal relationship. Are you wondering whether you're capable of overcoming these obstacles? Are you allowing doubt and fear to dictate your decisions? If you are like the young man in our story, you may feel immense pressure at first. But remember, every challenge is an opportunity to discover your hidden strengths. Sometimes, the very moments when we believe we cannot go on are the moments when we make the greatest progress. So instead of asking yourself whether you're capable, why not ask, how can I take small steps that will lead to my success? A thought-provoking scenario, the boulder and the path. Picture yourself walking along a narrow path. Ahead of you lies a large boulder, blocking the way forward, with no option to go around it. You have two choices: turn back and abandon the journey, or find a way to overcome the boulder. What would you do? This is the kind of situation life often places us in. These boulders can be anything: failures, rejections, or even mental barriers. The question is not how many boulders you will face, but how you will respond when you encounter them. Will you give up? Or will you find a way to press forward? The young man in our story encountered many boulders on his way up the mountain. At times, he thought about turning back. But each time, he told himself, "I've come too far to give up now." And so, he found a way to overcome each obstacle, one by one, until he finally reached the summit. You, too, can do the same. Begin by accepting that challenges are a natural part of life. Rather than viewing them as enemies, see them as teachers, helping you to develop your strength and capabilities. Each time you overcome a boulder, not only do you come closer to your goal, but you also realize that you are far more capable than you ever imagined. The end of the journey, a realization. When the young man finally reached the top of the mountain, he looked back and saw the entirety of his journey behind him. All the doubts and fears he had at the beginning seemed to dissolve. He realized that he had the potential to climb the mountain all along, he just hadn't seen it at first. Life is like that. You may already have everything you need to succeed, but it's only through action that you discover it. What would have happened if the young man had never attempted the climb? What if he had turned back at the first sign of difficulty? Final advice: the first step. If you find yourself standing before a mountain in your life, remember that even the longest journey begins with a single step. You don't need to have all the answers, and you don't need to be perfect. All you need to do is begin. And with every small step, you will gradually build confidence in your abilities. Ask yourself, what has been holding me back? How can I start with small steps to move toward my goal? You will find that, once you begin the journey, your hidden potential will start to reveal itself, just as the young man found the strength to climb the mountain he once thought impossible. Final question to reflect on: what mountain is waiting for you to conquer? And how will you take your first step towards it?